Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to MrBlurry. It's nice to see all of you here. Hello, that one dude. Hello, E. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to MrBlurry's. Welcome, welcome. Today, joining me is Papa Kumo. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Heyo. So, how these blurry lounges are gonna work? This is gonna be the first one, but how these are gonna work is we're literally just gonna chill. We're gonna chill. We're gonna talk about things. I've got a few questions prepared, but if we don't get through them, we don't get through them. So it's yeah. How are you today, Papa?
I'm doing fantastic. Today's been a good day. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Today's been a weird day because it's barely started for me, but I feel very tired for some reason. I'm not sure why.
That's fair. I have those days as well. I think we all do.
Yeah, sometimes you just wanna see. Here's the thing about sleep. When when I get woken up by an alarm or like by someone else, I just feel the absolute fucking worst. Like if you told me like if I wake up naturally, I'm okay. But if someone or something wakes me up, it just fucking sucks.
True. Actually, uh, one of the things associated with that is whether you wake up to natural light, I think. So whether you're the type of person who has like all their window blinds shut as opposed to open, I think it makes a difference.
Oh, wait, really? Like
Yeah, yeah.
also like
I
artificial
could
light.
also be making that up off of some like random YouTube short that I heard once. I have no idea.
I mean, to be fair, that does sound like something that might actually be a thing.
I think so. I think that's why they make like natural light lamps that are like the same light temperature as the sun. I think those are also for seasonal affective disorder, but
Oh.
nonetheless, I know some people use them for that purpose.
Wait, does that have to do with does that have to do with the temperature of the light or does it have to do with like the UV radiation or
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's both the temperature and like yeah, the UV. But that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure.
that's interesting cuz Sleep is not something that VTubers are known for. It's
Yeah, I my sleep schedule is crazy ever since I became a VTuber.
yeah. If I didn't have work, I definitely would have not had a decent sleep schedule. I think me and my gen mate have like the best sleep schedules we possibly could, which is
How many hours would you say you average?
8 or 9.
8 or 9? Damn, wait, that's pretty good
Yeah,
actually.
it's like perfect.
Dang. I'm like, if I get 8 or 9, I'm actually dead. I need around 6. If I sleep more than that, I suffer for it.
Oh,
Um,
really?
it's a fine balancing act though, because if I go less than like 5, I'm pretty screwed.
Oh, oh wait. So if you sleep too much, you also get like woozy.
I do, yeah. I'm pretty dysfunctional if I sleep like a whole day. I've tried doing like every now and then if I really can't sleep, I'll do like melatonin or or something else. And yeah, those types of things will just like mess me up for the next day. Or if I'm like,
Oh,
if it's one of those days where it's like a Saturday, and you wake up and you have nothing to do, so you're just like, I'm just gonna sleep more. And you sleep for like 9 hours. Those days always kill me. I'm just tired for the rest of the day.
oh, I see. Okay, okay. I mean, yeah. Goddamn sleep. God. Okay, as a void creature, I sleep is not something that I particularly. I find it very ineffective because it's like 12 hours of your day or like 8 hours of your day where you don't get to do anything. Like from a purely logical perspective, that's just
Yeah, yeah.
questionable.
I think that's why I sleep only 6 hours because I'm like, bro, I got stuff to do. I need more time.
See, I say that, but then again, I also sleep for 8 hours. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's one of
your
those things
your
where
body's
you,
gonna do what it needs to do.
yeah, yeah. Same with eating and going to the toilet. God, I don't know how. It's just so. I count up the minutes. I'm like, okay, I spend like 10 minutes to like eating, and then I spend like another like 8 hours sleeping, and then like 10 minutes walking here. And I'm just like, oh my god, I could be doing so much with this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Also, I don't weird. I'm not sure if you were referring to me when it came to offending someone about being called Spider-Man. Don't worry about it. I've been called Spider-Man so many times. I am literally a Spider-Man. So the comparison is valid.
Don't worry, don't worry. Um, Let me get a drink actually. Oh, speaking on the topic of drinks, I've got a question to ask you. What is
Yeah.
your favorite alcohol?
Favorite alcohol? Ooh, probably I'm pretty basic. I'll do like a vodka cranberry or oh shoot, what have I been drinking
That's
lately?
not basic.
Actually, I'm kind of a wino. I like the really sweet desserty wines, like the fruit
Ooh.
scotto type things.
I mean, look, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so my like taste in like alcohol are very sweet as well. Oh, that's very
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. It's
I'm also a
cranberry
huge sweet
vodka.
tooth.
Never had cranberry vodka before, actually. How
Really,
is
it's
it?
very popular. It's very, very popular as like a mixed drink over here. I don't know
Oh,
if it's a regional thing or not.
uh, I, it probably, it might be actually. Although I'm sure you can get it somewhere else, just not. Oh yeah, I heard that you guys have like in where y'all live. I heard that you guys get like canned wine. Is that true?
I think I think you can get just about anything in a can over here. I think I've definitely seen canned wine. I actually drink boxed wine,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
boxed wine. Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's probably maybe an international thing too. But it's way way cheaper, and to me it tastes similar enough that I'm like maybe it's a little crappier, but for the price, it's a good value. So yeah,
Mm-mm.
I'm not ashamed to drink my wine out of a box like a degenerate.
No, look, same, same. Like the only time, the only time we would go out of our way in the Blurry family to get like wine in a bottle is when we're gifted it, or it's like a special
Fair.
holiday. Because, I mean, like wine, box wine is surprisingly good. It's
Yeah, I
surprisingly
think
good.
so.
The only thing I have to complain about box wine is that the little faucet sometimes is a bit too like finicky. But that's like,
Yeah,
eh. So it's good wine. Well, it's not good wine, but
yeah.
it's pretty good.
It's satisfying to get to the end though, and like just take the whole pouch out of the box and
Oh
just like
yeah,
squeeze it into your mouth like a Capri Sun.
yeah. That is very satisfying.
You gotta get every drop.
Oh, there's a question in chat.
I've seen canned milk.
Canned milk.
Let me think.
Have
I
you
don't think I have. I've seen boxed milk, and
boxed milk? Oh,
yeah, but that's usually for like oat milk types of things. I don't know why you can box oat milk. Maybe it doesn't expire the same, but I've definitely seen it in a box.
oh, okay. That's boxed milk, huh? How does that
Yeah, I've never
work? Is
bought it.
it? Wouldn't there be like a layer on top though? Because milk.
Yeah, that's why I think it's. I think it's only like almond milk and oat milk where they do that.
Ah, I
Where
see.
I
I
think it
see.
doesn't necessarily need refrigerated until you open it. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm guessing by the fact that those things might not have proteins in them that
Ah, that makes
that
sense.
denature. I don't know.
Ah, okay. Okay. Wait. Does like oat milk and almond milk not have like denaturing agents in them? Is that like purely
It's
a?
me. I have to Google it. I don't know. I've only had like almond milk and oat milk a couple of times. Actually, the one time I bought almond milk, I was like, I wonder if you can cook with this stuff like you can with regular milk. I tried to make mac and cheese with almond milk, and my mac and cheese just tasted like almonds, and that was
Oh,
weird. So I have not bought it ever again.
I see. I mean, now that you've pointed that out, I've never I've never. Sorry, I just read something in chat. Um,
I love that. Feel free to read chat. I love, I love that.
yeah, Australia has some big spiders. Yeah. Um. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've never cooked with anything apart. I have cooked with oat milk before, but never cooked with almond milk.
Yeah,
Have you
I
had
don't
rice
recommend it.
milk?
I don't think you can cook with almond milk. I don't think you're supposed to.
I yeah, probably. Um. Okay, so you know what? Let's go into a few of the questions. Let's go into a few of the questions.
Sure.
Um. First question: what inspired you to be a VTuber?
Uh, that is a good question. So in earlier stages of my life, I have attempted being a streamer or a YouTuber in some capacity, but those fell through mostly because I was still a student at that time. So it just wasn't a high priority, and it kind of fell off.
Right.
Uh, this year, earlier this year, like very early, like February, March, is when I first started thinking about it, and I started watching some smaller VTubers because I'd seen like Hollow Live and like the bigger corporate ones, uh, Kizuna Ai,
Right.
Kaguya Luna, like all of those. I was like, oh man, this is gonna blow up in the U.S. one day, and then it did, and then I started seeing like smaller VTubers over here, and I started watching one this year named Panko Fox, and I was like, this is so sick, and she's a professional live 2D rigging artist, and yeah, I just like picked up on some things, and I was like, okay, this seems achievable, expensive in a lot of
It
ways, but
is. Yeah.
achievable. So yeah, I don't know. I think I just didn't have any other like creative hobbies going on. I was in a stable place, like career wise and money wise, and I didn't have the same constraints. I was like, I'm gonna take another swing at this, and I'm gonna do it as a VTuber because I actually love VTubers, and yeah, I guess that's how I got into it.
How's your experience so far then with VTubing?
So I just debuted like a couple weeks ago, which is already blowing my mind that it's already 2 weeks ago. Uh, but my experience has been really, really good. I've streamed 4 times so far, and I'm already having a lot of fun with it. I've I've spent the majority of the year kind of just networking and making friends. I actually spent the majority of the year while I was waiting for my model, kind of just hopping between different VTubers and their Discord servers until I kind of found one that I really vibed with,
Yeah.
and it was a small group that I kind of just hopped between their channels all the time and got to know them, and they knew that I was waiting to become a VTuber as well, just waiting on model art and then eventually a rig. So yeah, I was kind of just spending the whole year kind of trying to offer whatever I could to this particular group of people, trying to which isn't much, but like I don't know, little technical things. I'm pretty experienced with OBS, graphics things, like just I don't know, random stuff, just to be a helpful
Yeah.
presence in their communities. And I feel like during that process, I made a bunch of friends, and I kind of started getting a better idea of social media, and all of that has been very fun, and I've been enjoying like all of the kind of the content side, but also the analytics stuff. I'm a software engineer by day, so I actually
Oh, I
am kind of a
see.
data nerd, and all the analytics like really interest me. So just every piece of it. And then in a past life, I'm a graphic designer, so I enjoy like that part too, and video editing, and just every single little piece is like just been very fun. And I am actually hyped every day that I get to stream. And I'm really looking forward to this year just to see what happens. It's like the most exciting thing going on in my life right now.
That's actually really cool because not too many people. I know like in my like circle, I would say there's a lot of people who have like experience with graphic design and like things related to VTubing related to their like IRL work, but to be fair, like outside my circle, I don't know a lot of people who do graphic design and that kind of stuff. So that's actually really cool.
Yeah, I was obsessed with graphic design and like digital art in high school. Like I thought that's what I was gonna do for a living. Uh, I just spent all my time, every hour of every day that I wasn't in school, doing that. Like learning Photoshop. I know Photoshop like the back of my hand. Uh,
Right.
and then yeah, and then I got to college and I started like actually looking at like salaries and like trying to find jobs and stuff. And I was like, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Maybe I should find something that makes more money. And then that's how I pivoted into software engineering because I took a Java class in high school and I got an A and I was like, well, that was kind of boring, but I was good at it, so let me try that.
Oh, I
And then
see.
I kind of built up a passion in that field too along the way. But yeah, that field pays disgustingly high salaries, so
Right, I
it
see.
was worth it. I think I sold my soul a little bit, and but I think it's worth it because now I'm a little bit older and I can kind of pivot back into something more creative again.
You like now that you have like financial stability, you can actually like use like because at the end of the day, a work is for like you work to live, not live to work. So it's kind of like a you can enjoy your hobbies with what you've gained from work, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely one of the things that I could feel confident saying now that I don't think I could back then, which is back then I just wanted to do graphic design. I wanted to like do this creative thing like at all other expenses. And then once I was actually like living on my own and having to like figure out how I'm going to pay my own bills and stuff, I was like, "Oh shoot. Wait, this is actually going to be really hard
Mm.
if I do it this way." Uh which maybe it would have worked out. Maybe it could have worked out, but I don't regret this probably more traditional path of
Right, I see.
do do the do the more what's the word? Not less enjoyable, but just not like yeah, it's not the same like artistic expression
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day.
There's a question from Psychofiend in chat. Curious, I have a question for Kumo. What gave you the idea for your concept and design?
That is a good question. Uh, so to be honest, I kind of have forgotten the original reason why I wanted to be a spider. Specifically, I'm a spider yokai, uh, and kind of the motivation behind that actually was uh, a kind of a lore idea I had. I don't really have an official lore, like any published lore for for Kumo, the spider yokai.
Right.
But kind of the idea was actually earlier this year, I went through a pretty significant breakup. I was in a 9-year relationship with this woman, and I found out that she had like cheated on me, and I kind of like backtracked through like 9 years worth of events, and kind of calculated all the various times actually
Oh wow.
that she cheated on me. So
Oh my
it was
god.
pretty bad, and I was like, uh, yeah, it was a really bad time, and I think it is literally the idea for Kumo the spider yokai is like I think just at that time, I like literally felt like at my lowest point in my life, like an insect or like a bug. I felt like a spider. Uh, yeah.
God
So
damn.
that's not a lot of people know that, but that is the reason.
Oh, I see. Well, look, it turned into something like it turned out to be a banger, at least.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how my model came out and with how my design came to be, and I think now it's kind of evolving into something more than what I had originally thought of, which is just another like I think reason why I wanted to do it this way, because it feels very empowering to like redefine what was a very emotionally challenging part of my life as an adult and like evolve that into something creative and I don't know, something that I own and control.
That's actually really like outstanding, like really like admirable. The fact that like, because generally I think most people when they first like do their VTuber model, they don't put too much thought into it. I know I didn't put as much thought in it as you did, but a lot of people just like, oh yeah, look, there's a lot of cat boys. Let's be cat boys. There's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of like I don't know Nekomimi, so let's use that. Or like on brand, or they like use certain like gimmicks, you know. But the fact that like it came from your like experiences and that kind of stuff is it's very. I mean, it makes it easier to use that model. It feels more like yourself, wouldn't it? As well.
Yeah, exactly. I think yeah, I can't say for sure like what motivates other people to rebrand or like pick particular designs. I think I think that's a totally valid way to approach things is just like pick something and play a character. But for me, like Kumo is me, the person who plays Kumo.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I'm playing Kumo. I feel like I am Kumo.
Yeah. No, I agree
Although
with that.
IRL I'm not this jacked, but
No, me
some
neither.
elements of Kumo were designed for for commercial success.
That's true. That's
That
true.
is one
Same
of
here.
them.
Same here. Can't lie. I mean,
But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I get that. Because the idea of MrBlurry started actually. I haven't actually told anyone this, even in my chat. But it started because I used to have like I used to be really scared of everything. I had like a very I wouldn't say anxiety, but I was very worried about a lot of things. Well, yeah, no, anxiety. But basically, I was constantly scared of like, or what happens if there's a flood, or what happens if there's like something jumps out at me. I was like afraid of the dark for the longest time. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If something's gonna scare me, I'm gonna scare them first, and that's how Mr. Blurry came about.
Hell yeah. That's the way to do it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Although I think picking a model and a design to go with it is I think one of the things that you look back on most as a VTuber. It, it's
Uh,
one of
uh
those.
yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends. Like in what context do you mean?
I think I don't know. There's many times where I see other people and they have models purely for like commercial reasons, and I'm just like, that's good and all, but is that what I want to be? Like sometimes it's like, oh my god, they have success and like it's not like attributed to their model, of course. They work hard, but like their model can be a part of it, and it's just like, should I have done that with my path? Because this actually brings me on to a next question. But before that, let me actually answer Psychophine's question. Is there something you look forward to in your VTubing journey? Actually, that's actually really close to my question that I was going to ask you.
Yeah. Something I look forward to doing on my VTuber journey. Uh, I one of the things that I've already dabbled with so far is doing metal vocals. So I listen to a lot of metal, punk, emo music, and uh, long before being a VTuber, I have always enjoyed singing. And at some point, I learned how to do a lot harsher vocals and screaming. And I've since like taken courses and stuff for it as well. Not that I'm like amazing, but it is something I enjoy a lot. And I have like no musical experience whatsoever. But one of the very first things I did as soon as I debuted, actually part of my debut as well, was I'm going to like sing and do metal vocals like right away, and learn how to do music. Um, while I was waiting for my model and stuff, like even before I debuted, I bought a guitar and I started taking classes because like I'm gonna learn how to play guitar just for this because I want to be able to do music. So
Oh wow.
that is something I'm looking forward to is getting to a place of a skill level where I feel like I can do like an original song or do metal covers. I've already done one metal vocal cover of "My Curse" by Killswitch Engage, and that was received very well for what was something that I put together in about 2 days. So I think that's something I look forward to doing more of is just more reasons to scream, which is just another, I think, hidden talent of mine that not a lot of people know I can do IRL.
Right. It's always fun. It's always fun, like finding like whatchamacallit, finding things that you can like. It's like your own little secret on the internet almost, kind of thing. It's not like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like you don't normally show or don't get the chance to show this like in your IRL times, but like when you're on the internet, you can do whatever the hell you want, and you can use all these kind of things.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, it also with metal screaming, it's like it's just one. It's a very convenient hidden talent as well because you can whip it out like at any time. Like I'm a lot more confident now that that people on the internet have seen me do it and given me lots of internet points for it. I'm like, oh, cool, I can do this.
Ooh. Okay,
That's
wait.
neat.
Would you mind doing a sentence in your metal scream?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, let me turn off my noise canceling real quick.
All right.
Okay, so I apologize if there's more background noise, but so it's actually interesting. Metal screaming, there's if you listen to like live versus studio, it's very different. So I'm gonna do like a clean metal scream. We'll see how that sounds. There's a couple kinds too. I'll do a false chord scream. What should I say? Oh, I know what I'll say. Welcome to MrBlurry's channel.
God damn. God damn.
And then usually in recording that you'll add like distortion or you'll add layers to make it
Right,
sound
right.
way more gritty. So I can also do that. I have a way to do that. Hang on.
Oh wait, do you? All right, because you have a go XLR. Don't you? Oh my god, hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh my god,
Hopefully that came through all right.
that's so good. Oh wow. Yeah, no, it came through great.
Okay, cool. I can actually hear it when I do it.
Oh, that was really good. God damn.
Thank you.
In terms of singing, the only thing like in terms of like metal and rock kind of genre, my voice can only really do a robot voice and a growl. That's probably it.
Robot voice. Wait, I'm interested.
Um, well, I guess I'll see if I can do it now. It's very like on a day-to-day basis, but I'll see.
That's fair.
Oh, welcome to the friend zone.
That's awesome. Also, there's someone in the chat. There's one. Want to shout out? Hello, Yoichi. Yoichi's a friend of mine. We
Oh, I
collabed
see.
recently. They're
Hello.
super chill.
Hey yo, Yoichi, nice to see you here. It's our first time meeting. What's up?
Yeah, you've been spotted, Yoichi.
I see a wild Yoichi.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to doing a lot more metal stuff and guitar. And I've just been finding random like small reasons. Like on my throne, a bunch of people bought me throne gifts recently, which I'm super grateful for.
wow.
So I've been sending all my thank you messages to people in the form of like little 30-second songs.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's actually a really
Yeah,
nice way to do it.
yeah, just so I can get like that practice in, and I guess they also feel a little bit more special. But it's mostly that, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. So that, yeah, as you said, you can get practice in, and you can also like give back to your like viewers. That's actually a really nice way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think as a small creator as well, every little like small gesture counts. Like, and
Yeah.
since you have like as a tight knit community more so, because like, as a smaller creator, you're more like close knit to your viewers and all that. I think having like these kinds of like small like not necessarily redeems, but like these like gestures is really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm looking forward to getting the affiliate perks on Twitch soon, so I can start doing like all the little channel point redeems and stuff. I don't know if YouTube
Oh
has an
right.
equivalent yet, but uh, I'm yeah, I don't know. That's just like one of those things I think of, not just VTubing, but of I think of getting your start in content or just anything on the internet. Uh, like I think it's a lot easier to do with the mindset of like, well, yeah, what can I do for other people? Like, how can I go out of my way? I don't know, to entertain people or like make them feel a little bit special or
Yeah.
get more value for their time,
That's
that kind of
that's
thing.
that's definitely true. Out of curiosity, is there anything else you do like along those lines?
Let me think about that. I guess I can't think of much. I think I've played tech support for a few people, mostly because I have a lot of experience with OBS and kind of streaming software in
Right.
general. Um, Before I was a VTuber, and actually before, right around the time YouTube launched streaming itself, like under the guise of YouTube Gaming,
Right.
there was no Streamlabs didn't exist. They were
No,
Twitch
it didn't.
alerts,
Yes, yeah.
and there was no equivalent for YouTube Gaming at the time. And I wanted to stream on YouTube Gaming, so I just made my own Twitch alerts for YouTube. Uh, the reason it didn't exist was actually there was no API for it, but I found a way around
Oh,
that.
I see. Hot damn.
And so I made my own version, and I just like put it out for like it was just like a software that you could download and run. It was like a $5 program that I just advertised on Reddit, and people went crazy. So that was a tangent, but the point I'm trying to get to is I learned a lot of stuff about like OBS and streaming software at that time,
Mm.
and all of it's still pretty relevant today. So I've played tech support, I think, for a lot of people. That's the only other thing I can think of
Okay.
like that at the moment.
I just want to go ahead and say this before we go any further. Tangents are like the lifeblood of this. So don't worry if you're going a tangent. This is
That's
this is
fair.
what we're here
I'm just
for.
admittedly a bit of a rambler, so I might go down some rabbit holes.
See, honestly, I think I'm personally a bit of a rambler myself. I talk a lot, and I'm not sure whether I talk fast, but I talk a lot. But I find that whenever I'm streaming, I find that my brain suddenly just fogs up, and I can't think of anything. Has that happened to you?
Like when streaming specifically.
Yeah, when specifically when streaming, like even when it's like public talking or something, I'm fine. But all of a sudden, when I'm on stream, I'm just like, well, I have a game here, and that's it. Yeah, and I'm gonna talk about the game because my brain is empty.
Yeah, you know what? I think in day-to-day life, I've gotten pretty good at just talking and rambling. But with streaming, I've learned that it's actually a bit harder than just normal public speaking because you are focusing on this game or whatever you're doing or art. And you have to focus on chat and you have to generate things to say while also responding to other people. And you're also like kind of subconsciously moderating your chat
Yeah.
and watching your sound levels. And like you have to juggle a lot of other little things while also generating things to say. And I think that's the hard part of doing all that like parallel processing. Because I think if you just put me in a room with a microphone and ask me to say stuff, I probably could just say stuff and play the association game for a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time.
I think
Like the fact that I am the guest on this stream and I don't have to monitor all that stuff right now, I think makes it very easy to just talk and talk and talk.
I
But if I
see.
was in your seat, I would be a little bit more like, maybe it helps that you actually have a list of questions prepared, but I would be like, yeah, I don't think it would be as easy for me to just like generate words.
I think that there's another thing about that on top of that is that you have to constantly like try and find what's entertaining. It's not just about talking. You can't just play the association game because you also have to be entertaining. It's not just
Yeah.
yeah. And that's a big part of it. And sometimes it's a very difficult part of it because what's entertaining is very subjective. It's very like loose in terms of its concept. So I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes actually on the topic of that, do you like how do you like how do you deal with like entertaining like how do you entertain your audience more so like what do you use any techniques or anything in specific like specifically?
So I'm still kind of figuring that out myself. One of the things I'm doing right now to kind of narrow in, I guess, on my process is I do watch my own VODs,
Yeah.
uh, and kind of analyze them to figure out what I dislike about them. Like I literally on my way to work, like driving to work, because I have about a 20-minute, 30-minute commute
Right.
each way. I've been listening to my own VODs on audio just to see if they are interesting to listen to without the video. And like I was watching a VOD from a couple streams ago, and I was like, oh, I thought this stream was actually hype in the moment, but then I'm like listening it, and I was really low energy, and I was just like way lower energy than I thought I was. So then in my
Yes, yeah.
last stream, I was like, okay, I'm taking a 5 hour energy shot like before stream. I'm like trying to be a little bit animated, and I watch it back. I'm like, okay, I can tell I improved, but there's still like these moments where of like kind of focusing too much on the game or not enough on chat, like whatever it is going on. So I'm still kind of narrowing down the right balance and the right energy level.
Mm-mm.
As far as entertaining chat, I think I can lean a bit on the screaming aspect. One of the things that was really fun for my last stream, I was playing Sonic Frontiers, is the first boss in that game has just this awesome metal song in it,
Oh,
and
I
it
see.
caught me by complete surprise. And the boss fight is like so hype also. And I'm also a little bit of a Sonic fanboy in my childhood, so I was just like, okay, all the right things are combining. My favorite, like one of my favorite game series, my favorite music genre, a hype as hell boss fight, like, and I just went like full animated mode. Like that's one of the challenging parts. Is I'm normally a very stoic, monotone person,
Mm.
but playing an animated character, I'm like, you have to be animated. So
Yeah, that is
I'm like,
definitely true. Yeah.
oh shoot, I gotta move my face, I gotta use my voice, I gotta start yelling when things are intense. I've got to make it feel intense. Like I'm so far, I think I'm starting to figure out that that's a direction I can lean in. But I see
Yeah.
other people who are really good at like really witty banter and just are able to pull out puns or little
Yes,
jokes like
definitely,
in every
definitely. Yeah.
conversation. And I'm not quite at that point yet.
I think
Um, yeah.
there's also people who are able to like like the way they talk or like how they like I don't know how they like just stream. It's like you know like comfort streamers for example. It's just like it's a very different like type of streaming compared to like gremlin energy or like it's not necessarily what I would call a niche, but it's definitely like a style of streaming. And I think personally, and I think this applies to a lot of like VTubers who are just like very new, is that like I personally and me a bunch of other people haven't found like what they want to do, whether they want to be a streamer, whether they want to be like an for all energy streamer, because working for like one or two, like, oh yeah, you do comfort like for one or two streams, and then all of a sudden you're like all energy for another stream. It doesn't work too well. It doesn't work too well because you don't have like a sense of stability. You don't have that idea
Yeah.
where you stick to one thing and your viewers come here to watch that specific thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, yeah, I think that's also a decision that I haven't figured out for myself, like which direction I'll lean in harder. Because I don't think there's any universe where I could be like a ninja type streamer, where I'm just like spazzing out and doing like goofy reactions and like screaming every time I get a
Yeah.
kill. Like that's just not me. Um, I'm more the type of person I think nowadays where like if someone kills me or I kill them in game, like I'm gonna be like GG, good shot, bro.
Yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
that's about it. And but I do that is a weird thing to coalesce also with my kind of like metal theme as well. So I don't think I've figured out. I think I'll walk somewhere in between right now, uh, between like chill and
Mm-hmm.
intense, and maybe that's its own place on the spectrum. I'm not sure.
I think that's where I'm at as well. It's a very weird place and it's very confusing to navigate this kind of thing because again, like content creation has so many facets that you would not expect when I first started content creation around 8 months ago because VTubing was the first time I ever started content creation. Um I was completely new to this. I had no idea what I was coming in for. Um and yeah, I wasn't like expecting to like needing to I guess I was my brain was just like, yeah, I'll stream and I'll get content and then views and then yeah, and everything will be fine. But there's a lot of like I guess marketing that you need to do as a VTuber as well, especially
Yeah.
if you're like aiming for like the higher. Oh, actually, speaking of that, do you have any aspirations of joining an agency?
No, not at all. Um, well, yeah, I don't think so. Uh, I think one of the biggest benefits of joining an agency would just be like, if this is what you want to do full time and you want to do it like right away,
Yeah,
yeah, there's just no other way to achieve that. Like, I think it makes sense. But for me, the trade-offs are not worth it in my position.
I see.
As someone who's like financially stable, and I'm not in a rush to do this full time. I think it'd be really cool, but for me, I think I have the patience for a more of a slow burn approach,
Right, I
where
see.
if it does happen, I'm fine with grinding my way there. I actually do enjoy that type of grind, anyways.
Yes, definitely.
But the trade-offs of like you generally don't get control of your IP, you don't get control of your design or your persona. There's so many agency VTubers who've been forcibly graduated under really weird circumstances as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, definitely.
That it's just like, yeah, I guess if all you care about is just doing this and nothing but this, then I guess that makes sense. But if you care about kind of the artistic side of it and the self-expression and and yeah, I guess just putting yourself out there and navigating that yourself, I don't see the appeal of joining an agency.
I see, I see. I'm kind of I look, personally, I would like to join an agency, but only because of the idea of like I'm not personally like for the money, not like or for the full time, not particularly like I'm not interested in that kind of thing. But I think the main thing I'm like is the fact that like an agency, well, being like it's like a family almost, and I think that's why Stygian started as well. Um, for those who don't know, Stygian is the group I'm in, because we all have a similar goal. We all want to be in like a part of a family kind of, and I think having a label does help that like I guess that idea, and also it does help us grow as like people as well because we're able to, like, if one person grows and they've got like, we all grow together. Is that, I guess it's that kind of sense. By putting us under the label of Stygian, I think, but like all of us have basically turned into one VTuber almost, or one brand, if that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about because I actually did look a little bit before the stream into like I didn't know what Stygian was, but I did kind of look at the other VTubers under that group name, I guess. So I've gotten a little bit of exposure. I don't know a whole lot, but yeah, there's definitely power in the brand. Like Hololive, Niji Sanji, V Shoujo, any of them could just like they could spit out a new VTuber like tomorrow, and they'll guaranteed have hundreds of thousands of subscribers
Yeah.
just like right away. It's a huge buff, and whatever amount of resources, money, time, people, effort, marketing, like just like insane what they're able to do
Yes, of course.
just with their brand alone. I think that's really cool. But I think the parts of that interest me. I think I'm the type of person who would rather run an agency than be in an agency, if that makes
I've
sense.
had that thought a lot of times as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying that mostly from the side of me that likes the data, that likes the marketing, that likes the design process. I have like management experience.
Mm.
There's a lot of components to it that appeal to me, but for the reasons you said, actually, like also having a group and being able to like grow together. There's a very I don't know if it's actually a well-known quote, but there is a quote from Mr. Beast, who's obviously like the biggest YouTuber of all time,
Yeah.
which is that he had a group of friends that was basically just that, just like a group of people sharing information of like different ways the YouTube algorithm works, what they find works for thumbnails, what they find works for like whatever
Yeah.
titles, and the fact that each of them could learn something with every upload and then share it with each other meant that they could like figure out how to hack YouTube basically
Yeah.
10 times faster than most other people. They could get 1,000 days worth of experience in a quarter of the time between
Yeah.
the four of them.
Definitely.
So there's definitely value in that. And I think I guess the only thing is I think that's doable without making that a like a legal entity. If
Yes.
that makes
Yes.
sense.
Definitely. Definitely.
I would have to be with people that I trust really well and that I feel are as motivated or as like data oriented as me.
Yeah.
Like we would have to click really well for me to be into that type of thing.
Would you be inclined to join a group then instead of an agency?
I guess it depends. What to you is the distinction?
I think an agency is like a legal like firm or a legal like it's got a brand. It's got like commercial transactions within it. A group is just like what Stygian is right now, where it's like more so, it's not an official entity, but it's like a label.
I think I don't know. That's hard for me to answer. It would really depend on, yeah, I guess what that group stood for, like what the goals were. I feel like kind of the same things still stand, because I think some people would form a group around the basis of like wanting to work together towards like a similar professional goal,
Yeah.
or to make friends, or things of that nature. Like I think the group that I've kind of quote unquote group, the Discord server community of VTubers that I've become acquainted with, including Yoichi in the chat here, like I feel very comfortable with that particular set of people for the most part. Even though probably most of us, at least relative from my frame of reference, maybe on a like a online like friend slash online acquaintance. What I forgot what word I was looking for, but basis was the word. For me, I think to join a group, yeah, it would. I have not met anyone in my life so far, and part of this there's all sorts of psychological, I'm sure, reasons for this as well. I've just not met anyone in the world that I'm like, oh yeah, this is a person that I could do business with. Except I can think of one person, one of my IRL friends,
Right.
but he's not at all in content creation. But we have like both very similar entrepreneurial goals, I think.
I see. I see.
So it would have to be like, yeah, just all the right ingredients would have to be there, and all the right vibes. Like I think my bar would be unreasonably high, unless it was like an agency situation where there was some like pros and there was some cons, and it seemed worth it.
Right. So like, okay, okay, I get what you mean. I get what you mean, and fair enough. Fair enough. Like agencies and groups aren't for everyone. They're definitely not for everyone. And being an indie VTuber is just as like, you can be just like you can be the same in terms of like how you operate and all that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm very much the type of person to try to do things solo. Even though I think now I know that it's a lot easier to work on projects with people as
yeah,
a group than to do everything yourself. Uh, kind of like I said earlier, part of being Kumo is part of partly like me redefining my myself as a person and
yeah.
understanding myself better. So in that sense, like this particular pursuit is something that I feel really comfortable doing on my own, even though probably in a lot of ways I am not.
I see. I see. I mean, yeah. Look, even if you're not in a group, you can still have like a circle of friends or a circle of. It's the same with any other thing. It's not even just exclusive to VTubing. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can not be a part of like a company, but still have friends at a company or something like that. Like maybe like it's like a Romeo and Juliet situation, but you know, Romeo and Juliet actually are fine with each other and their families are fine. Um, it's a weird analogy, but it is similar to that, where it's not really, how do I say, it's very collected, like a very not wholesome, but what's the word for it? Like conjoy. Okay, you get what I mean though. It's like very,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a very a close knit. That's the kind of word I'm looking for. Um,
Right.
yeah, so you can have a close knit group of people, but they don't need to be in like you don't need to have a label under them. That's definitely not something that you need. I do
Right.
have another question. Um,
Sure.
apart from like music, do you have any other aspirations in terms of VTubing? Do you have an idol that you look up to?
I know that I look up to. I would say I feel like it's a basic answer, but I think Iron Mouse is is kind of my definition of success in VTubing.
I see. I see.
Um, because Iron Mouse, I mean, Iron Mouse is obviously part of an agency now, right? V Shoujo, but for the most part, that is just straight up in an indie VTuber who overcame like all the odds, right?
Yes,
Started
definitely.
with a like a default model or like a open source model, and just like grinded all the way up despite all the problems
Yeah.
that she has to deal with, and got to where she is. And that's just like, dang, that is just, I don't see how you could do things any better than how Iron Mouse did it. And then at some point, Iron Mouse joined Vishojo, and that's, I think that's sick for Iron Mouse as well. That's the route she decided to go, and that has gone apparently very well, I think. So I forgot what question I was answering or where I was going with that, but because you were asking like what other things I am kind of wanting to do right
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a VTuber. I think it's just I my brain is simple. I like when small number become big. The
Yeah.
social media machine, like my brain is geared for it. I am also like not a degenerate gambler, but I am a gambler. Like anything like that, where my goal is just to make a small number big, and combine that with like, I don't know, data analytics or like anything that can
Right,
do
right.
with programming. Like I will. I will throw stuff at the wall and I will find a way to make that number bigger. So even just that part of it, which it probably sounds very vain, but I think at the heart of it, like all content creators probably know that this has to be true. That at the end of the day, you're not doing this so you can sit at the same number of followers. You're right. You're trying to
Yes,
get followers.
definitely,
You're trying to get
definitely.
likes. You're trying to get people to look at you. And I just enjoy that part of the process. And then I have to figure out what I do once people are looking at me. But I enjoy both pieces of that, I
That's
guess.
a
So
different rabbit hole.
yeah.
There's a question in chat. Is there one big content creator you would like to do something with one day?
Well, obviously Iron Mouse. God, I love Iron
Iron
Mouse. I
Mouse?
would. I tweeted this something yesterday. I replied to a tweet the other day. People were started retweeting it. I was like, I would literally eat a real spider on my stream if Iron Mouse so much as read my name. So, Iron Mouse. I don't know if you just happen to be on watching streams on YouTube, bro. Send me a DM. I'll eat spiders for you.
I mean, look, fair enough, fair enough. I think having an idol that like, because I think with VTubing, everyone starts from, even if they're like an agency VTuber, like to get into the agency, they already like they've already gotten like an established, like, not record of content creation, but like a record of like an identity and like a
Mm.
like they've worked hard is what I'm trying to say. So I think it's very like it's very nice to be able to sympathize and empathize with like I guess other VTubers, especially if you look up to them, because we all know that we didn't start from like we started from most of us started from scratch, if not nothing. Even agency VTubers to get into the agencies, especially the big ones.
Yeah. Yeah, even getting into an agency, you've got to do the whole application process. You've got to be like, look, this is what I can do. These are other forms of content I made. Some people know how to sing. Some people know how to do gymnastics. Some people do music production. Like they have other talents that they grinded to get into that agency in the
Yes,
first
yeah.
place. So there's yeah, everyone has to grind in some way.
It's a very okay. Do you think that content creation does have luck in it though? Well, like, does luck play a big part? Of course, there's luck, but does luck play a big part? Do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I think this is one of the what is that cliche saying or idiom? Like luck is opportunity plus preparedness or something.
Mm.
Um, like an opportunity comes, and if you're not prepared for it, like then you get nothing out of it. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
If you're hyper prepared, but an opportunity never comes, it's like the same thing. It's like both of those cases can be considered bad luck. Um, and which is why you just have to try to maximize both. And I think that's why like common advice, social media is an easy example. You can make a really amazing piece of content, whether that's music or art, but if you're only posting it, for example, to I'm gonna use music for example. If
Yeah.
you're only posting your music on SoundCloud, like you're really just hoping that I don't actually know how SoundCloud works. I don't know if they have an algorithm. I presume they do. You're really just hoping for that one platform's algorithm to pick you up, and it might not ever do that. Um, which is I think why the advice is so common. Like you need to be on everything. You need to be on Twitter. You need to be on TikTok. You need to be on YouTube. Uh, like every platform you can be on, you need to be putting your stuff there.
Yes, definitely.
Not necessarily like because you need to spam all your stuff. It's because you don't know which of these platforms the algorithm is just gonna pop off. Uh, my kill switch engage cover got like 18,000 views somehow on Twitter, and it's got like 90 views on YouTube, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. The Twitter algorithm was just like, Lamau, here you go. And then my Twitter followers like doubled it over like a span of 48 hours. And I was like, that's sick. And my Twitch followers then kind of also got a trickle of that. And it's just like, okay, so I'm realizing now that yeah, there's luck in this, but I can try to you can increase your odds. You can
Yes,
try to
yes.
just there's okay, you're at the mercy of an algorithm that nobody understands. So play as many algorithms as you can, and when one of them pops off, you got to be ready for it. You got to have your link in your bio, have your call to action, whatever you want people to do. Like
Yes,
once
yeah.
those eyeballs come, and it will pay off, I guess. That to me is luck, and I think there's definitely luck involved in this process. And I can only hope that I will continue to experience some more of that.
I think
Oh,
that's
hi,
definitely.
Ocean.
Hello, Ocean. I
Another
definitely think.
VTuber friend.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. Hello. I definitely think that luck is. I think putting your things on a bunch of different like, a bunch of different. My brain is so fried. A bunch of different platforms is definitely a good idea because again, like as you said, the algorithm. But also, you never know when something is gonna like break. You might like
Yeah,
one place might absolutely just shut down one day, and without warning, all your like hard work can be ruined. But if you've got like stuff on, even if it's just like shorts or clips or whatever, if you've got something at least saved on something else, then you've still got at least like not an archive, but like a record almost, or like something to
yeah,
sustain yourself. I think that's why I like YouTube, and that's why I stream on YouTube because the VODs stay there, and I'm
right, right.
like you can go back and see all of them, and you're like, okay, I've done this, and this will be here. And if even if this won't be here, of course, there's TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's so true. I think that's probably one of the scariest things about trying to get into content creation is the fact that like, I started literally this year and I started on Twitter, right?
Mm.
I didn't have anything else, just Twitter, growing a Twitter following so that when I did start on Twitch, I could have somebody see and come over to Twitch. And then the whole like Elon Musk buyout happened and everything
Oh
started
yeah,
catching on fire and there was a real possibility like, oh my God, Twitter might actually not be around at some point.
yeah, definitely.
Um, and so yeah, I just recently started branching out to like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff. Because now I'm like, oh, I cannot put all my eggs in this basket. It doesn't matter how big the platform is.
It can
Even
shut down at
YouTube,
any
like
time.
Google is notorious for shutting things down, and YouTube's been around for a long time. But anyone who's lived through, I guess, the the mainstay products of Google, like before YouTube, it was Google Video. I don't know
Yeah,
if anyone remembers that, but like they threw that in the trash as soon as they acquired YouTube, and then YouTube Gaming, and then they threw that in the trash, kind of. Uh, like, yeah, I even YouTube, even Twitch, I would say like there's a possibility that
it could just
that
shut
shit
down one
burns
day.
down,
Yeah.
and everyone has to figure out something else.
And for the
Um,
scariest thing, I think is that it can happen without warning because there's no obligation. And especially like even if it doesn't shut down, but even if there's like something like seriously wrong with a platform, that can also be a big factor. Like on Twitch, the 50-50 payout or like the
right.
reduction of the what was it? The reduction of like the bigger content creators like pay. That was like a
Yeah,
really
yeah,
big thing like 2 months ago. That like that
yeah,
that
absolutely.
made a lot of people like swap to like other streaming services, which like again you don't know when the next thing can happen. They can just decide something on a whim and be like it goes through a lot of people, but if a lot of people say yes because they're not necessarily the people who make these decisions aren't necessarily the people who use the platform, right? So
Right.
very it's like a bunch of old people talking about how to like oh god, a lot of old people were talking about schools or whatever. It's like there's not a lot of connection between the two, and there's not a lot of communication, um, at least between how things work on like a not legislative level, but on a like logistical level,
Right,
compared
right.
to how like it works on the floor on the surface almost. And I think that's
Yeah,
yeah, it's one of those things where it can make or break a platform, and it can definitely like change how the dynamic of like like a person's streaming career purely because of a platform. And I think it's a very big like
yeah.
very big investment. It's a very big investment as well, VTubing, or just streaming in general, and you don't want to just lose all that in one day purely because Elon Musk bought Twitter, for example, or something.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think what one of the I think one of the things that makes it so easy to get riled up in this like domain is at the end of the day, like Google is a business, Twitter's a business,
Mm.
and I guarantee there's probably people on the ground at those companies that are like that feel that connection to the creators, but those are not the people making the decisions.
No,
Those
they're
are
not.
not like the product directors or the VPs. Like at the end of the day, there's someone at that top of that chain that's like, that's great, but that doesn't make money. So yeah, I don't know. That's how you end up with those like 50-50 things. And then when it's a monopoly, that's why I'm kind of glad that like I'm glad that there is YouTube streaming. I'm glad that
Yes.
even that there's Twitter streaming and Reddit streaming and TikTok streaming, like it is actually a really good thing that all these things exist because there is some motivation for Twitch to be competitive.
Yeah.
For them right now, it's mostly I think that the what is the word? The viewer engagement and interaction that they have over everyone else at the
Yeah.
moment. But
Yeah.
I feel like the moment YouTube just adds channel points and redeems like Twitch has, oh my God, Twitch needs to start sweating. They need to be on their feet like
Fun
right
fact,
away. 'Cause
YouTube does
the,
actually
the
have
list
that.
of reasons is diminishing, I think, to be on Twitch
That is
compared
definitely
to YouTube.
true. That is definitely true. But YouTube does actually have that. Only thing is, it's much harder to
Oh,
reach as a content creator, which is so basically there's no like affiliate alternative, but there is a partner kind of like system in YouTube, which means that it's much harder to achieve.
right.
Obviously because it's like partner status, but um, but yeah, it does have that sort of system. It's just not like achievable for, well, it's not like a thing for most people.
Yeah. And that astounds me too that YouTube has a really notorious history of like gatekeeping all of the like cool features behind this mythical partner status.
Yeah.
Uh, they, I feel like if they wanted to lean a little bit more, I don't know why. I from the engineering part of me wants to say it has something to do with scale or with something like that, site reliability. Um, Google's not as stable on the tech side as a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
would like to believe, but a company that size, all the bureaucracy, I'm sure it's a hard thing to change from within.
From
But they really should get on that because if more people had
yeah.
access to that, I guarantee there'd be so many more streamers on
There
YouTube
definitely
right
would
now.
be. There definitely would be. And from what I've heard, I think they're actually like super chats, which are basically like, actually you guys have super chats on Twitch now too, don't you?
Oh yeah. They basically ripped off super chats over on Twitch. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a partner only feature. I think it is.
Um, yeah, but for super chats here, I think they're actually rolling them out to people who aren't in partner programs soon
Yeah.
as well, because they're not rolling ads because they want ads. It's understandable for ads because, you know, the advertisers want like a reliable channel or a channel that's like got a record of like content creation, or like they're not going to be problematic or anything. So that's why ads are in like partner. But for like super chats and like memberships and all that, I think there are plans to roll them out to like smaller content creators as well. So yeah, Twitch better start building up their game, because we also
Yeah.
have better payout on YouTube as well.
Yeah, true. You know what else YouTube does way better than Twitch, and I didn't know this until recently, is clipping. Clipping a stream on
Oh
YouTube
yeah,
is so much easier on like than on Twitch. On Twitch, it doesn't even work half the time. It just like crashes, and I have to like go back to the stream, and then it shows me an ad, and then I'm like, God damn it, I don't even want to be on this stream anymore. And on YouTube, because on YouTube you can rewind at any point, like
yeah.
they have that like cache, so it just like it clips instantly. It's so nice.
It's also, I think, in terms of like clips and accessibility from like a viewer's position, YouTube is definitely also better for that, because on Twitch, like clips, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, they don't do much. They don't do much on Twitch. Um, it's one of those things where they do exist, but like you don't go on Twitch to look at clips. You go on Twitch to like, look at streams.
Yeah. I think what if I had to describe what the intention of clips is for, or at least the way that I've used them as a viewer, or would like to use them if they actually worked most of the time, is when I'm watching something really funny live and I'm like, oh, I've got to show this to my friends, even though they don't watch this particular streamer. I'm like, this is just actually funny content, and I
Yeah.
clip it and I post it to my personal Discord to my friends, and then maybe they start watching that streamer, or they're just like, whatever. But in any case, it's just like another channel for virality,
Yeah.
especially streamers. I mean, there's streamers, right? There's VTubers who make a career out of being highly clippable. I would say like Fillion, for example, is one of them.
Oh, definitely,
Um,
definitely.
like without a clip feature, like I think it would be a lot harder for that kind of person to grow.
I think as well. The type of content you create is also it's very varying in terms of how you like decide to promote yourself. Like how you decide to be able to be promotable, I guess. Because as you said, Fillion's like marketing strategies like clips and all that. But you can also like sell yourself through like your skills, and
Right.
it's I don't know, it's got very different. It's a bit like a niche again, but it's also very different at the same time because it doesn't have that, like, you're not stuck, more or less. You're not like set in stone with this kind of stuff because it's at the end of the day it's just a way to gain like traction. So you can swap from one type to another, or you can do like multiple different types of like forms of promotion. So I think this is a more like loose not perspective, a loose decision almost compared to like a
Hmm.
lot of other things that you have to consider.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely not something that I think about. Like, I'm not. I think when I'm streaming, for example, like I'm not sitting there thinking about like what can I do to make this a clippable moment. Um, but actually, you know what I do like clips for is just being able to go back to the VOD and be like, I want to spit out this particular part, and then like download the video file and then re-upload it to Twitter or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that is
that
definitely
is
something I use
that
it
is
for as
the
well.
on the creator side, that is the useful part to me.
That's definitely the part I use as well. Although
Yeah.
it's a bit weird because I'm not sure whether you can do this on Twitch, but on YouTube you can't actually like you can't really edit the videos as much. You have to like you have to like offload the stream and then like edit it in a separate editing app. Is that the same for Twitch?
Yeah, I think so. Twitch actually just straight up has a button for barfing it out to YouTube. Although I think they will do it in a lower quality than if you just download the video file, because they don't want people to actually use it or
Right,
something.
I
I'm
see,
not
I see.
sure.
That is
So yeah,
very
if I
confusing.
do want to edit it, I download it, I open up Adobe Premiere and I like do that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's
most
what
of the
we
times
do
I'm
as
just
well.
like spitting out raw clips somewhere.
Okay, okay. What do you think about that? Like, do you think like in terms of like promoting yourself, is it better to have lots of raw clips or like long like or like a few like heavily edited clips? Because both
Um,
work as a marketing strategy in some sense.
Yeah, it really depends on the clip. So the ones that I've done raw are the ones where I think the situation or the gameplay or something that I was doing was sufficiently entertaining. I think editing can really take a clip to like a higher level. Like you can make an otherwise not that interesting clip and make it pretty funny with just being highly edited alone.
Yeah.
And I've been playing around with this a little bit. I have a short on my channel that's me opening like 80 Hearthstone packs.
Oh, I saw that.
And if you do the I've been kind of learning how to do the the hyper edited brain rot quick hyper quick cuts
Oh yeah,
style
yeah,
of
yeah.
editing with captions and like quick camera pans and stuff like that.
Damn.
Um, and that can turn something like that, which is just like opening 80 card packs, into something that's actually kind of fun to watch. Uh, but then I have another clip where I'm like, I'm reacting to this music in this Sonic Frontiers boss fight. I'm just like, this is actually rad as hell. And I'm just like bopping out. And I'm like, that doesn't need any editing. That was just a hype moment. And that works on its own.
Mm.
But I'm sure if I do edit it, like it could have been elevated more. But there's just like also the return on investment of the time it takes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Do you
Um,
think that it would be like, do you think having both styles on your channel would be good though?
I would. Well, actually, let me think about that. I don't know for sure because when I think of like channels that do have that style of like editing, because the ones that I've been studying the most are like Nyanners, um, Cinder is another indie VTuber who grew quite quickly and has like professional editing. Um, I can't think of any channels that actually do have a mix of those two types of things. I think that the types of VTubers who can get away with less edited content probably are the ones that are like, this is actually just true for streamers in general. The ones who are like really good at games, like the esports
Yeah,
types of
I
folks.
definitely think so. Yeah.
They don't need to edit at all. I mean, if they do compilations or montages or whatever, fine. But like, uh, their gameplay speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Probably, the direction I see myself going, like I don't plan on uploading VODs to my YouTube channel, for example. I probably will end up leaning generally in the direction of like the highly edited types of content,
Right.
and I think that is probably just because it's more of a time investment, but it's nice to have just that extra cinematic control and be able to be like,
It
okay,
definitely is.
I feel like this is now funny at this point. Like I edit it until the point where I'm like, I like watching this. I will rewatch it. I will rewatch my own thing multiple
Yeah,
times
yeah.
because I think it's funny. And at that point is when I upload it. Um,
I
Otherwise, I'm
definitely
like,
think that. Yeah.
this isn't good enough to for me to put out there.
Now, what do you do like for? Hmm. Do you have any advice for people out there who are thinking of beginning content creation?
Um, I think it's hard for me to give advice because I'm just starting myself. Uh, but I think I think just that everyone's in their own place in life and everyone needs to find like what their own pace is. I think there's some friends that I've made this year who I think are looking at what I'm doing now, like having just debuted 2 weeks ago, put out a vocal cover. I'm uploading shorts. I'm uploading TikToks. I'm tweeting like pretty regularly. Uh, Doing collabs like the they're talking to me in DMs and be like, bro, you're going on crazy mode right now. I'm like, I am, but uh, I've I've built up a certain skill set across just like different interests to get to this point of feeling comfortable doing all these things.
Right.
And I've taken a crack at this a couple times casually, and this is like a point in my life where I want to take a crack at it seriously. But I think not everyone needs to take it so seriously.
Of
I
course.
think it is
Yeah.
okay to take a crack at it and like focus on one thing, right? Like earlier I said, oh, you need to have a YouTube, you need to have a TikTok, you need to have a Twitter, you need to have an Instagram. Like, not necessarily. You might just want to figure out how one of those works and then do another one and then do another one, like over the process of a year.
It's definitely a
Um,
learning curve. Yeah.
yeah, you need to find where you are on that curve and then take it at a pace that works for you, and balance that with the other things you have going on in your life. Um, I think as someone who tried to do this type of thing at 19 and probably at somewhere in my early 20s, like I don't think I don't think I really understood work life balance. And I think now that I have, bills to pay, I have rent to pay, I have cats to take care of, I have myself to take care of. Like no one has my back but me, so I've got to make sure that I'm staying balanced between this as a hobby and also as a serious pursuit, but
Right.
also with like my career and also with my mental health and my physical health. Because if any of those like falter, then I'm screwed. So yeah, I guess figuring out a balance that works and having patience is valuable. Like the world's not going to end if you don't become an internet celebrity, like in your early 20s or in your late teens. Like especially in VTubing, if you become a VTuber, who knows how old any of these famous VTubers are?
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
actually, it doesn't matter. people don't know that I'm like almost 30 when they talk to me a lot of the time, except maybe when I start talking about like the management experience and retirement accounts and stuff and
When I was
filing taxes.
your age, back
Yeah,
in
I'm like,
my day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's my advice. Maybe there's better. I feel like that's generic advice that I think that applies to anything that you do as a hobby or that you pursue. If I figure out better advice for content creation specifically, I'll make sure to report back.
All right. I think, yeah. For me personally, I think for new content creators, I think finding what works for you is a very important thing because I think there's fitting in a niche and like fitting in a niche is good, but you have to find out what niche works for you or like what like
Yeah,
particular style works for you because everybody's different, everybody's like unique. So you've got to be definitely like
right.
and sometimes it's very hard to jump between two. Like sometimes if you're in one particular thing, it's very hard to like do something else, which means that like I think if you are feeling like starting creating content, I think the most important thing is consider carefully about what you want to do and what your brand is. Well, not necessarily what your brand is, but what you want to do and how you, I guess, want to express yourself. I think those are the two important things, especially as a streamer. It's an incredible
Yeah,
feeling when someone.
finding a niche is an interesting one. I think probably another thing I would add to that is just like don't force yourself into something that you're not. Like I can't be a ninja. Uh, I I think this is a mistake a lot of people make, especially when they're young too, is they they do the classic "What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna do uh 1v1s Modern Warfare," like that style.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
almost everyone goes through that phase. At least the young guys do. Uh, and now I know like, oh, I don't need to be that. I can just be. My only thing that I try to do now is just be myself, but be
Yeah.
myself a lot. Like be really myself.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Uh,
yeah.
an exaggerated version, I guess. So, um, yeah, that's that. I think that is you don't need to force yourself into any particular niche. You'll either fall into one naturally, just because of your personality, or you can kind of I think probably carve your way into one
Yeah.
and just like build a passion for it over time, kind of like like I have with tech and programming and stuff. I did not start out a programmer in my life. I discovered that and I became good at it, and then I became passionate about it after that. And I think you could probably do that in content creation too, I imagine.
I think so. I think so. It's definitely one of those things where, yeah, you can, again, as you said, there's two ways to do it, but either way works, and you don't have to. It's a very weird topic because there's so many different. It's not controversial, but there's so many different like acceptable answers for it. So it's very
Yeah.
yeah, it's very different compared to like a lot of other things that you would expect in your, I would say, a normal, in quotation marks, a normal person's life.
Yeah. Yoichi brought up a good point too. Like kudos to people who play an actual character for streaming. I think it's funny because there are people who are really good at this. I see them on like just scrolling through Twitch. I'll see someone's thumbnail and I'm like, this design looks designed, if you know what I mean. And I go and it's like this persona feels designed, but they're very successful and they're really good at it.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, dang, that's really impressive. But it also makes me think of the agency, like the Hololive girls, especially. I feel like where they always like start out as a character and then always end up being quite a lot different than
yes,
their
yes,
debut, and their like real personalities eventually shine through into the character, and and it's not until that moment where I think their confidence like where they like hit a stride. I
yeah.
think
I definitely think so as well.
Gorgura might be an example of that for a lot of people,
Yeah,
at least from what I've heard.
definitely, definitely. I think that's a very like good point as well. That you can't necessarily. I mean, it's not hiding, but it's like It's also very hard to keep up. Again, like as Yoichi said, it's also very hard to keep up. Like a persona. It's very like it does get tiring. So eventually, you do let yourself slip sometimes, every now and then, even if you're not conscious
Yeah.
of it. But I guess it's to each their own because like it does work. It does work. There's people who are very successful who do it, but then there's also you have to consider there's also people who don't do it who are successful, and it's very wide topic. It's not I think it's not a choice that can make or break your content creation. I think, especially in VTubing.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes back to that point that you made earlier about like having that emotional connection to your model, and uh, at the end of the day, like you can pivot too, especially as an indie. Like you
Yeah,
can, if you want to try being a character VTuber, like go for it. I considered that. I considered like who could Kumo be to other people, but at the end of the day, like I'm just comfortable with Kumo being me.
yeah, I agree with that a lot. I agree with that a lot. There is another question in chat. Curious, but why the name Papa Kumo?
Uh, yeah, this was one of those purely what's the word? Uh, Commercially minded decisions. I
Oh,
was trying to just think of names that had to that I could associate with like Daddy Longlegs,
oh,
without being too corny. Even though I think Daddy Longlegs technically are not spiders, um, they're just a colloquial name for like various other insects.
yeah,
But almost everyone thinks of spiders when you say daddy long legs. So I was like, what could I do there? Almost everything that I could think of was taken already on Twitch and YouTube, except for Papa Kumo, which Kumo is Japanese for spider. Um, and I didn't go with like a full name, like character name, which a lot of VTubers do, mostly because I actually cannot remember most VTubers' names, and I just interpreted that as me believing that most other people probably also don't remember VTubers' names. I can think of some Hololive characters' names, and that's about it. So I was just like, I'm gonna go all again the Iron Mouse style, and just be like, I'm gonna pick something that is short and easy to remember, easy to type, relatively easy to spell, and I can get the social media handles, uh, except Twitter, where there's just some guy Papa Kumo, which is fine. All the other platforms I have it, at least the platforms I care about, and I could get the .com, and that was something that mattered to me as well. So
I see, I see.
pretty much that was it. There was no other reason, just like purely what can I do for SEO, social media, and memorability reasons.
Right, right, right. I think that's actually pretty similar. Because my name, as you could probably tell, is very like it's very similar to yours in the sense that we don't have like a first name, last name, da da da. Because
Yeah.
I was actually very conflicted about that because I wasn't sure why, like, I wasn't sure whether that would be like something not acceptable, but whether it would be something fine to do, especially because it was so uncommon within like the community. So I ended up going with it, as you could tell. But
I think my model just froze on my end. I'm gonna try to
oh
fix
yeah, I
that,
think it did.
but keep going.
um, yeah. So I think oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's right. I think that having like a unique name like this can also oh bye bye. Having a unique name like this can also help in the sense that it's mine isn't. I didn't tailor mine to be mm, short and memorable. More or less, it was meant to be like unique. Like it's much more
Yeah.
unique to not have like I don't think anyone has like Mister in their name. I don't think at all. Like I haven't seen another person, another VTuber, at least within like what I currently have explored within the deep
Right.
deep sea of VTubers.
And admittedly, your name's really easy to remember. Like, yeah, I literally can just type in MrBlurry into YouTube. There's no other MrBlurry. Like, you pop up right away.
Oh, do I?
So I think that's a good username. At least when I looked you up, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know
Because
that.
I looked you up. I looked you up yesterday because I was like, oh, by the way, guys, I don't stream on Thursdays, but I will be on MrBlurry's YouTube channel tomorrow. And yeah, you are. Yeah, just type in MrBlurry. You're number one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
There's no
that.
other ones. Actually, there is another one, but but he's smaller than you, so you're number one.
Oh, nice.
Also, I have no idea why my model froze. It's the video website specifically. So I guess I'm a JPEG now, which is
Oh,
fine.
okay. That's fine. You're looking down at something.
I'm
Um,
admiring that goddamn 8 pack,
what do you mean? You've
the
got one
family
too. Look
pack
at
of
that. Look at that
Hawaiian
one.
rolls.
Look at that one. You've
Yeah,
got one too.
yeah.
To be fair, I really like your design actually. Like even if it was like removing all this like the arachnid like parts of it, like I really like how like your model is designed. And I think it's going to be especially
Thank you.
good for like song covers and stuff like that as well because it's so unique, especially like the face. I don't think anyone else has like that sort of like hairstyle or that sort of face.
Yeah, it was all very intentional. I can't take like full credit for the design because a lot of it was the creative liberty of my model artist. But kind of the the basis for Kumo's design, or my design rather, speaking in the third person, I guess, was I almost every part of it. I don't have a strong attachment to any particular aesthetic. I just thought of characters that I thought I could either identify with or that other people could relate to,
Mm.
and that were pretty popular. So what I did was I put together kind of like a mood board, and I was like, okay, what are my inspirations? What do I want to go for? What has appeal to people? And the things that I could think of were uh, Sasuke from Naruto, whatever the main guy and the main character in Hades,
Right,
uh,
right.
who is quite a popular character.
Yeah.
I was focused a lot on characters too that had both male and female appeal, which is actually why I picked Hades specifically.
Ah, I
Supergiant
see.
Games does a really good job of being very inclusive with their game design and character designs. So that's yeah. So then I kind of put that together. I also gave my artists pictures of me and samples of my voice so that they could
Oh.
try to sculpt Kumo a little bit better around me. And the hair specifically actually was probably something that was the only thing that I actually designed myself, was because my first attempt at designing Kumo was as a Vroid model. And the first thing I
Oh.
did was sculpt hair. And I was like, okay, this is how I want it to look. And that was pretty much it. The rest, I knew I wanted this like kimono thing. I knew I wanted, to be jacked and, you know, be kind of exposed. It's actually a particular style of kimono associated with Kyudo archers in
Oh, I
Japan,
see.
which is like an ancient form of archery.
Oh, so that's
And
the
so I
line,
I,
right?
I gave all this to my artist, and I also gave like a prototype sketch that my brother did for me. He's also a character illustrator, and yeah, Belo went wild, and he came back with his first concept, and I was like, that's perfect. I love it. It's literally the best thing I've ever seen. I couldn't have come up with something better. Let's do that.
Right.
And yeah, that's what I am now.
Ah, I see. That's actually okay. Yeah, that's amazing. It's something when something just clicks when the first thing that your artist makes is the thing that exactly what you want. Something's like
Yeah.
I'm coming back to you as well, because actually I want to talk a bit about that on that topic. Where do you think like you've commissioned like artists and like music before, right? Or mixing
A
or
few
anything.
artists. I've not commissioned any music yet, but I have like looked into it a little bit. I actually follow a few people on Twitter who like I've seen make some cool stuff, and I'm like, I want to reach out to that person one day,
Right, right.
just in case.
Okay, because I don't know. It's a very finicky thing because well, first of all, you have to be careful of scammers because they're
Right.
rampant on Twitter and these kinds of places. But you also have to like it's also like for me, what I look for in an artist is I can have a long-standing like relationship with them, and they also like click with me because I feel like if they like if I can't have a long-standing relationship with them, I feel like it's more or less just like it's not sustainable or it's not suitable for my needs more or less. Oh, Hello?
Wait. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I think I figured out why my model's frozen, and I'm about to fix it.
That's fine.
Oops. Sorry. Oh my god. I didn't realize this is what's gonna happen.
Ugh. Okay, there we go. It's okay. There we go. Oh, hello, you're back.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Dang it. All right. It took me a while to notice because I had it was covered up by Discord.
Oh, I see. What was the problem?
Uh, I don't know. Something on Discord or something on OBS just crashed. I just realized that the preview wasn't rendering. I might have been a glitch with the virtual camera.
Oh, I see, I
Uh,
see.
I don't know. I've been messing with OBS so much in the past 48 hours. I might have messed something up. But yeah, no. On the topic of artists, like, yeah, I was extremely picky with finding my model artist, and it was hard to be picky as well because there's not a lot of artists who will do male VTuber models.
That's
Um,
true. That's definitely true.
very many people are uncomfortable with male style models, and even more people are uncomfortable with rigging them. So, but it just so happened, I don't even remember how I found him, but Belo, like, I found his DeviantArt, and his portfolio was full of VTuber models, including adoptables, that some of a good amount of which were male, and an even higher amount were spider girls. And I was like, this is the most perfect artist I could think of. Literally
Oh.
specializes in monster characters and has a portfolio of spider like hybrids.
Oh, I
And
see.
I was like, you are the guy. Whatever you want to make is what I will go with. But here's some like some yeah, some foundational
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah.
So it for me it was very worth it to be picky, but it did mean I was waiting like all year to get my model.
Right, I see, I see. I mean, to be fair, that's another thing about models, the wait time, because it's still not. There's a lot of live 2D like illustrators out there, but it's finding one that works with you and also is like available, because there's a ton which like you find that are like they're either like, oh yeah, we're booked until like 2030, or they're like, oh yeah, we do hire, we do accept it, but you're gonna have to pay us like $10,000. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah, so it's a very hard thing finding like a perfect rigger almost, or a perfect illustrator. So it's very difficult to almost not get a model, but get a model that suits you, like a person,
Right.
like personal model, I guess, because you can,
Yeah.
of course you can get adoptables, but if an adoptable doesn't particularly suit your personality, or doesn't like it just doesn't mesh well sometimes, which can be a big
Right, right.
problem, especially since you're like representing yourself as, you know Papa Kumo and MrBlurry.
Yeah, exactly. There's and yeah, it was finding a rigging artist was for me the hardest part. Eventually, at some point, I got fed up of trying to find someone who had commission slots open. I just went to the Live 2D Discord and I was like, "Look, I have this much money. This is what I want. Message me if you can do all of these requirements." I made like a comprehensive Google Doc. Like it needs to support VBridger. It needs to have face Z, face whatever, like all these different technical terms that I had to learn
Yeah.
that the rigging artists use. I was like, it needs to have all of these things. It needs to have this many toggles. It needs to have the ability to turn this on and off. Like, and a bunch of people wasting my time. And finally, like one guy came and was like, I can do it. I can do it for this much. I can do it this fast. And what excited me about him too, his name's Zeratol, is he had his own YouTube channel where his whole focus is just teaching other people how to use Live 2D, and he's like
Oh, I
clearly very passionate
see.
about it. So I was like, this is the guy for me. And I think he knocked it out of the park. There's I will say there's some things about my model that I am not happy with, but as a perfectionist, like that is trying not to be a perfectionist, I just overlooked it because I was like, look, I can't. Even I have a limit on how picky I'll be.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I don't think anyone else notices the things that I notice. So at the end of the day, it's like, again, it was worth it, and I'm very happy with it. And I don't see myself needing to upgrade my model potentially for years, unless something big happens in the world of VTubing that I want to bandwagon onto.
Right, I see, I see. For me, it's slightly different. I look, I love my mama and my papa to death, but I think it was mainly my fault in the sense that I didn't know what I wanted when I
Mm.
first commissioned my model. So I didn't know like what accessories or like again, you can see I'm very very simple. Like eh there. I'm very very simple. There's not much to like in terms of like technicalities in terms of my body, which, you know,
Sure.
like I didn't know what I want either. So I think this was always like going to be a temporary model for me, which is
Gotcha. But that's a pretty valid way to like also approach it, I feel like there's an alternate timeline where I could have gone with either a cheaper model or a simpler model or just an artist that I was like, 50-50 on. And it probably would have gone fine. And I probably would have just like switched things up later like a lot of people do. Um, I mean, heck, that's how Iron Mouse did it, right? So
yes, yeah.
I think both approaches are valid.
I would say that if you want to go for something similar, more similar to my approach, is that you maybe try PNG tubing as well, because
Mm.
that is much more cost efficient, and even if you
True.
like, you're able to change a lot about your PNG. Like it's much cheaper to get like a PNG outfit than it is to get a model outfit. So
Right.
you can constantly change up your PNG and constantly like not upgrade it, but like if you're unhappy with something, you can constantly change it and do all that stuff with a PNG. Whereas you can't exactly do that with a model. So I do recommend people. I'm happy with. I like the fact that um, I've got consistency, but
Uh-huh.
for some people, if you feel like you like Iron Mouse, how she gets a new outfit pretty much every 2 months or so.
Right.
Um, it's like if you like want to do that, but of course you don't have the funds to do that because you're not Iron Mouse. Um, then yeah, PNG tubing is a really good idea because it allows you to do all that kind of stuff. And yes, you won't be able to move or be as dynamic, but you can. There's still a lot of ways to do, like put expressions on you, and like it's not too much. It's not that different.
Yeah. Um, that's actually one of the things that I guess kind of two things. One is like if I could do anything differently about the way I started VTubing is probably in hindsight, knowing how much room for improvement I think I have in terms of being an entertainer, is I probably would go back and start earlier as a PNG tuber and then debut as this version of Kumo
Yeah,
just so I could get in that entertainment practice before. Yeah, just because that was like a lost
yeah,
opportunity cost, I think. The other thing is, and this is kind of unrelated, but yeah, it is a little bit of. I get a little bit of turmoil just knowing that I cannot really edit my model. I can do some basic things that you can do in VTube Studio, right? Like change the colors of things
yeah,
or whatever. But if I want a new outfit or if I want to like change something up significantly, like I have to go to my original artist. I have to go to the original rigging artist and like get that whole group to collaborate and pay them again, and it's like a whole thing. And that
yeah.
actually, I think that sucks, and I don't blame the artist for it. Uh, I kind of, for me, I think the blame is on the Live 2D company for making a very closed source, proprietary, expensive software that you have to be highly specialized in,
Yeah.
and it's a great opportunity for the people who are specialized because they have long waiting lists. They make a lot of money on each commission, at least the ones who've set up a reputation for themselves and
Of
whatnot.
course,
But
yeah.
for the actual VTubers, like it's a pretty bad deal. You spend so much money and you don't even get to edit most of the time your own model
Yeah.
later on, and I think that sucks. One of my goals as a not as a VTuber, but as a software engineer who's very entrepreneurial, is I would love to one day build an open source alternative to Live 2D.
Oh.
I actually already have kind of ideas on how to go about that, but I just don't have the time for it right now. It's not a
Right, yeah.
commitment that I'm willing to do at the moment.
Time
But
is
that is something that
like
I would like to do.
time is definitely like another big ass thing that you have to deal with um, in terms of streaming. Because look, if you think about it, streaming is basically like if you do video content, yes, you put in the same amount of time to create a short form like a video, but you have the option not to put in that as much time. Whereas streaming, it feels more like you you don't necessarily need a stream for more than like half an hour, for example, but you probably like most people like in order to gain that like threshold of like I guess even just self satisfaction, if not like viewership, it's like you would generally stream for like at least 1 hour or 2 hours, and because
Yeah.
of that, it's very time consuming because for a video you can literally record like you can write a script for like 10 minutes, you can record for like 20 minutes. That's 30 minutes worth of content.
Right.
Sure, the quality may not be as good, but it's still content that you can put out if done correctly. But with streaming, you have to put in the hours, you have to put in the time and the dedication, especially if you're also doing projects on the side. Like, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
both Kumo and I are doing. We're doing covers, which take a lot of effort on the side as well, especially if you do certain parts of like the covers yourself, which means that the time is going to be a very valuable resource, and you're going to have to juggle between two big resources of time and money. I think that's a very big important part of VTubing,
Yeah.
especially.
That's one of the areas that I think a lot of people also kind of there's a misconception around like putting in those hours. So I was thinking about this literally yesterday because I was streaming Sonic Frontiers, and I was streaming for I think in total my stream went for maybe 4.5 hours. I've already been doing like I've been doing streams already going like 6, 7. I think my longest so far is 7.5. Um, but the one I did yesterday, I was thinking about it. And I was like, for the first 2 hours, I was hovering around 5 viewers, and I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm going to, because I got a group of people who are either watching or lurking who I enjoy, and I am having fun with this game, and I'm just enjoying it, and I'm getting my entertainment practice in. I'm getting my streamer practice in, right? Um, but going into hour three, I got rated, and then coming into hour four, I got rated again. And by the end of the night, I was at like 33 viewers. There was like multiple people following me. Again, it was that aspect of like luck,
Yeah,
opportunity meeting preparedness. Like, and I had just set up a new thing where like every time someone follows me, I do a metal scream of their username. I write their name in like graffiti at the bottom of my stream in my own handwriting, and yeah, I was just like, dang, if I had not streamed for that long, I wouldn't have gotten those raids and I wouldn't have had those chances to get some more followers. So there's the hours definitely matter, I think, but uh, it's not it's also not as straightforward as like, oh yeah, you can just sit there for 8 hours
definitely,
every day
definitely.
and play League to an empty stream. You've got to be, if that does happen to you where you get that raid or you get that random viewer pop up in your user list, you got to be ready.
Yeah, I
You
think
got to
that's the preparedness,
give
right?
them the hook, give them the reason to stay for 30 seconds, and then after they're there for 30 seconds, give them a reason to stay for 5 minutes, and then give them a reason to follow. Like, it's a whole funnel in its own. It's intimidating.
It is a very streaming is such a multifaceted thing, and it's not something I think you can be prepared for unless you actually do it for a bit and like get the
Yeah.
experience, because you can it's like you can get as much theory as you want, but it's sometimes just not possible to, I don't know, it's not possible to get some like a veteran at something is just going to be better at a person who studied it all their life, because
Right.
they've got the first-hand experience. They know what to do in certain situations where theory doesn't apply, because entertainment is a very subjective kind of thing. It's very
Yeah, yeah.
personal or individualistic, so it's hard to exactly pinpoint what works for a person, what works for the viewers, and what works for I guess like the people who you are streaming to, streaming sorry, the people who are you are streaming to, yourself, and also like the people who are supporting your streaming, for example, if not like the companies who like the streaming sites, or like people who in your family who support you and all that kind of stuff. You have to consider like all different things, and it's very different for everyone.
Yeah. And even if you do everything right, like some days you're just not gonna hook them. You're just not gonna get the results that you think you should, which is normal. You're just not gonna get a dub every single game. You're not gonna win all. You're not gonna win all of your ranked matches.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if you know the meta and you know all the stress and you cracked at your character, yeah, streaming is like that.
Because everyone else is doing the same
Everything's
thing.
like that. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
at least like everyone who like most people are doing the exact same thing. So I guess like
Yeah.
they're also being individualistic. I think how you appeal your personality as an individual is very important in this kind of like path, because
Yeah.
like you sorry, a lot of people say like, oh yeah, find out what makes you unique. I think it's more about not finding what makes you unique, but finding your personality and how it's different from others. I know it sounds very similar to just saying find out what makes you unique, but it's, I guess, delving more into your person and less so thinking about the uniqueness of yourself, and thinking about yourself as a person first and foremost.
Yeah. And not only that, but like, are you selling yourself to the right group of people?
That's definitely true.
Because yeah, not everyone who you're trying to sell yourself to is gonna care either way. It's the classic like sell me a pen problem. If the person that you're trying to sell to doesn't need a pen, don't waste your time selling to them. Like it doesn't matter how good of an ASMR streamer someone is. I'm not an ASMR person. It doesn't work for my brain. It doesn't do anything for me. They can be the god tier. They can have the highest quality microphone. They can have hours of content, and they can have the best model. And I'm like, this isn't for me. I'm not. You're wasting your time.
Oh wait, ASMR doesn't work for you either?
No,
It's such a weird
to this
thing.
day I don't really get it.
No, I don't get it at all. I've actually got an ASMR that I'm creating, but I've never actually like listened to ASMR to do anything. Like I hear people say
Interesting.
like, "Oh yeah, there's ASMR to like oh yeah, it's really relaxing to sleep to ASMR." And I'm just like, "Yeah, but there's just like someone whispering in your ear. It's like like I feel like I find it more
Yeah.
distracting sometimes."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Yoichi brings up a good point too. Like friends you love to watch, but games that you don't care about. Yeah, it's the same. Like I'm happy to lurk in their streams, but it's hard for me to like, I can't engage in like someone's chat if they're a big League of Legends streamer. I don't know what's going. I can't do MOBAs. I don't. My brain too small.
Right.
I'm not a MOBA guy, and that's fair. So yeah, just like if what you want to be at the end of the day is like, I don't know, a VTuber who does knitting, like go to the knitting subreddit, post your stream there. Go to knitting Twitter, whatever that is. I'm sure there's
Knitting
something
Twitter.
like, and don't, and you just can't be like, if you get a raid from someone who is like, I don't know, this is an extreme example, but if someone like raided you and they're like a Call of Duty streamer, like in that or now in a knitting stream, you can't be too disappointed. Probably that most of those people aren't gonna follow you, except for maybe like the one person who likes knitting
And
Call of Duty
yeah.
sweaters.
Yeah, that's see, the raid system is a very interesting one as well, because
Yeah, and YouTube's implementing it, right? Or like they kind of have it, but they're still ironing out the kinks.
we have it, but it's also locked under partner.
It's what?
It's also locked under partner.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's whack.
yeah, so you have to have 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours to be able to raid, which
Oh my
again
God.
is a bit weird, but yeah, thanks YouTube. Also, I love YouTube, Susan. Don't cancel me. Yeah, it's one of those things which is locked behind. I nearly said a paywall. Is locked behind partner. Is one of those
Yeah.
like shiny features that you get. Although to be fair, it does make YouTube partner that much more worth getting though, because
Right.
of like the amount of perks that you do get from it. And to be fair, it isn't unachievable. Like if you do put in the hours,
Right.
you'll be able to get partner. Like it's not like I would argue that Twitch partner is like some people will never get it, even if they like consistently stream for like I don't know a year. But for YouTube partner, it's one of those things where you'll eventually rack up enough because you.
Right.
It's one of those things. Everything's archived. Everything's there. Even if you don't create any new content, the fact that even if you have one video there, it means that there's a chance that someone's going to subscribe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With all the lockdown of features behind partner, it's weird to me because I feel like YouTube's shooting themselves in the foot, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like the engineer in me believes kind of very strongly that it probably is technical limitations. Um, Google is a big fan of doing what's called canary releases, where they release things to only 1% of their users and kind of measure it for a few months to make sure that it's going to scale well and it isn't going to catch on fire once they like release it
Right.
to a wider audience because they don't want to like put something out and then YouTube falls over the next day.
Yeah.
They're very, very, very cautious with everything they do, which is funny because sometimes it's still very buggy.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
For a person, for a group who on quote unquote play tests their applications, a lot of glitches exist.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they do be like that.
It's
If it's all right with you, is it okay if we take a break for just a minute so I can use the restroom?
of
I
course,
just
of course,
downed a large Diet Dr Pepper from McDonald's,
of course.
and yeah, I need to take a quick break.
Take all the time you need.
Cool, cool. I will be right back.
I'll be entertaining chat in the meantime. How is everybody? Oh wow, hello. There we go. How's everybody doing? Oh, he's small. He's very small. Again with the Dr. Pepper. Is this a usual thing? Is this something that he does regularly with Dr. Pepper? Thanks for nothing, YouTube. Yeah. Hello. How you doing, Yoichi? Hopefully you're having a good day wherever you are. This stream has been kind of weird because he drinks so much of it. God. I mean, to be fair, if I was like, if I wasn't I would drink a lot of Dr. Pepper as well. Long story short, I would drink a lot of Dr. Pepper as well, but due to certain reasons, I cannot drink Dr. Pepper or its alternatives as much as I would like to. Because we don't actually have Dr. Pepper in Australia. We don't have it at all. We've got cola and we've got yeah, we've also got Pepsi and then this off-brand like alternative, but apart from those two, it's basically just, yeah, Pepsi and cola. We don't have Dr. Pepper here. To be fair, I've been nursing this coffee all day. Well, that's no problem. That's no problem. I've got this, oh, what is this? Like pineapple beer drink that I'm drinking right now. And I've had it for pretty much the whole day as well. I mean, my date hasn't, it's only like 4 o'clock right now where I am. But yeah, I've had it for all day pretty much. I also tend to realize that whenever I'm talking to myself or talking to chat, that I talk much faster than I do in collabs. I'm not sure why that's the thing, but sometimes I just talk way too fast or way too much that I end up not like breathing or drinking, and then my throat just dehydrates. I'm just gonna like, and then I just go, give me a second, let me take a drink, and then I take a huge ass sip. That's something I'm very, very prone to doing. Hello, Raiden Brown. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to MrBlurry's. Welcome, welcome. My pet spider, eat my frog. That's concerning. I didn't know spiders could eat frogs to start off. I also didn't know that you had a pet spider or a frog. Did this guy over here eat your frog? I think this guy over here eat your frog. You're back, Kuma?
I'm back.
Did you eat Raiden Brown's frog?
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm not sorry about it.
Oh.
He was
No.
delicious.
Oh, at least it was a good meal, right?
Yeah. He died with a purpose.
with the purpose of feeding Papa Kumo. I mean, it's a noble sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely. You know you're watching either a Papa Kumo stream or collab when he spends half the time just pissing. Yoichi makes a valid point. I drink so much Dr. Pepper. I am a straight up addict for the Dr. P.
I mean, I love soft drinks. If there weren't certain limitations that to my like drinking capabilities, I would totally be drinking like Coke every single day because we don't have Dr Pepper over here.
Really? Wow,
Nope.
that's sad. I'm never moving to Australia.
Look, we've got big spiders, so you'll feel right at home.
That is true. That is true.
We
But
also
one
have.
of the problems with spiders is we don't mind our own business. We're always ending up in other people's business.
That is true. That is true. As a matter of fact, I can see three spiders out my window right now.
Oh my god, that's more spiders than I've seen this entire year.
Really? This
Yeah.
is like, oh, the insect situation in Australia is very, well, spiders aren't insects, but like the small critters situation in Australia is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as scary as people make it out to be, where there's like everything can kill you and everything's huge, but
Right.
I think everything can kill you. They're just tiny. Like it's tiny things that can kill you compared to everywhere else, where it's the big things that can kill you.
Yeah, I guess that's yeah, I guess I don't know which one I would be more worried about. Small, because like a spider, you can beat a spider, right, in a fight. Even the big nasty ones.
Yeah,
But like in the US, like bro, we got bears, we got mooses. Those things will mess you up and you cannot beat them. There's no way.
yeah.
So at the end of the day, I guess I would rather deal with the spiders, but nonetheless, that is still more spiders than I've seen all year.
But
And I think the only one I've seen this year, I might have seen a orb weaver at some point. Those guys are pretty
those are
scary
cool.
looking.
But then you also have to consider the fact that because they're so small, they're also very hard to see, which means they could be anywhere at any time,
Yeah,
which has a certain fear factor to it as well because they can kill you and also they're practically invisible sometimes, which means
right.
like would you rather have a visible and impossible to defeat enemy or would you have a tiny but very possible to defeat if you can see it enemy kind of thing?
Right, right. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. It reminds me of that. Not a metaphor. That hypothetical with like, would you take $1 million if for the rest of your life you were being pursued by an evil snail that will
Oh,
kill you
that kill you,
instantly if it
yeah,
touches you?
when you touches it. That one's great. I thought you were gonna say that theory where it's like, would you rather have 1,000? Would you rather fight 1,000 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Oh yeah, no, that's a even better comparison, I think.
It's very how do I say, very. I mean, look, the situation does make you laugh a bit. It does make you laugh a bit, but it is a very like weird question to answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I would. You know what I'll say about the bears and mooses though is that I've never seen one IRL, and I hope that I don't.
Oh, really? You
So
haven't?
maybe for that reason I will go with I'd rather deal with the duck-sized horse because at least maybe then I could just maintain a good distance.
I feel like one of my biggest fears is being swarmed by just a bunch of small things. Like you see in movies and stuff where
Yeah.
like Nick Cage, not the bees. Have you seen that?
Yeah, actually that's one of my biggest phobia is bees.
Yeah. So I don't want that situation to happen. It's just like tiny things that swarm you. It's just one big thing you can try and push it off. Many small things, it's like you can push a bit off, but then more will just crawl back on. You know.
Right, true. Yeah, getting swarmed by like fire ants, for example. That's a realistic threat over here, actually. At least in the part of the states that I live, fire ants aren't too uncommon. Those are, if you've ever mistakenly like stood on top of a fire ant hill, that's like scary. It's like, oh
Oh, is
god,
it? Do
they're
they
all
come
over my
out?
shoe. I
Oh,
need to
that's
get them off
right.
like now.
Because I used to be a bug kid, and I still am kind of. I'm very interested in spiders and insects and ants and all that kind of stuff. So I used to actually keep ants, and one of the species I used to keep was fire ants.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But you didn't you I imagine you didn't have to handle them, right? They're like in a tank or something.
I didn't have to. What? Okay, so when you have a small colony, you normally put it in like a test tube, and to feed them, you will have to handle them. And some might
Oh,
escape. That's just part of the process. But when it's a bigger colony, you generally move them out onto like a tank here.
wow. I would never do that. Ironically, as a giant Spider Man, I would probably avoid as much as I can dealing with small insects,
I mean, to
especially
be
any
fair,
of the stinging or biting variety.
yeah. To be fair though, spiders do fall prey often to ants. So,
That is true, yeah.
but then again, there's also
Ants should not
spiders.
be underestimated.
No, no.
Kurzgesagt has some crazy videos about like some really messed up ants.
Yes,
It's like a
yes, they really
species
do.
that just
Yeah.
like enslaves other ants and like brainwashes them from birth. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they've got some weird ass stuff. There's a ant called the trapjaw ant which can basically teleport.
That's messed up.
Yeah, there's some weird ass stuff out there in the world. There's weird ass stuff. And
That
oh boy,
it makes me think of also too all the like any insect or like anything you can think of. A lot of times there's a VTuber for it too.
yeah, there's a VTuber for everything. I've seen a lamp and a gun VTuber.
A gun VTuber?
It's literally a gun with kawaii eyes.
Wow, that's actually so funny. What the heck?
I don't
I've
remember their name.
I've seen
but, yeah.
I've seen a Hank Hill VTuber. There might even be a couple. And I've seen two chicken nugget VTubers.
Oh yeah, I know a chicken nugget VTuber too. Oh yeah, there's an Isekai truck one too. Yeah, Truck-chan.
God. People are silly. I'm glad they're having fun.
Yeah, my friend's a ghost donut. Oh my god. Yeah, there is really yeah. There's a VTuber for everything nowadays. Like you could probably find a VTuber for literally anything, except for the
It's
normal
like
stuff.
it reminds me of the also of the I'm just going down the chain of that reminds me that game where you Google your name and you're like whatever your name is, the hedgehog, and see whatever your name is, there's a Sonic OC with that name.
Oh
That's
really?
fun too. Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, little question. Have you ever tried searching your name in Akinator?
I have not. I feel like it would come up with the you know how like it tends to be like, oh, you're let me guess, it's you yourself. I feel like it would do that.
Oh, but what would happen if you try and do your VTuber model though?
I haven't tried that. I don't know. Yeah, what's the most spider-like character it could come up with? It might come up with Spider-Man, to be honest.
It might,
I don't
unless.
know what comparable characters there are.
Oh, but what happens if it talks about color scheme? Look, that's an interesting stream idea. I might actually do that. You should like, I might actually do that.
Yeah, just Akinator yourself, and then also other VTubers. I think
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
I think that would be really interesting. If your name shows up, yeah, that's when you know you made it. Yeah. There's a few things which like are so niche that are like, you know, you've made it when this happens, but they're so like out of like the ballpark. Like, you're on Akinator or you're on VTuber.com or like there's a cover of your song or whatever. It's very like
Yeah.
a weird milestone. It's not like measurable, but it's definitely a milestone nonetheless.
I think you can also put yourself into Akinator too, but I think the hard part is getting enough of the questions answered and enough people also putting your name in that you come up.
Yeah, I think so. Uh, oh my god, yeah. Oh wait, what?
What? I
What?
just read that.
Yeah, what?
What the heck? That's
That
creative, I
is-
guess.
Huh. Well, like the IRL schlong or that is
I can't imagine. There's no way. What are they streaming on? They can't be streaming on Twitch. Twitch would never let you do that.
YouTube
There's
won't let
no
you do
way.
that either. No, are they on Facebook or something? That's weird. That's weird.
It was just an idea.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Actually, I do want to ask you a little bit. Do you know much about the hot tub meta?
Hot tub meta? No, I know that it phase that Twitch went through. I don't know if is it still a meta?
I don't know. I'm so confused by it, and I was hoping to get some answers from a person who streams on Twitch. But
I don't see it as much on the Twitch homepage anymore. I think it was a trend. Uh, yeah, I think it was just one of those trends that everyone hopped onto. I will say that like stuff that really toes that line of like sexualized content on Twitch does get pretty up there on the Twitch algorithm and on the front pages.
I
Like
see,
it
yeah.
does do well. If you're looking at, if you just scroll through the just chatting category, even if you're just looking at VTubers, you'll see some trends about which kind of VTubers, indie ones, are ranking higher than others.
Yeah.
And there is an aesthetic, there is a age demographic, a gender demographic that is being targeted that is doing well.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the hot tub meta probably was a trend that just fits neatly into that I don't know what you would call that, vulnerability in the algorithm.
Vulnerability.
It's not really a vulnerability in the algorithm. It's more of a vulnerability in humans.
Yeah. I do get what you mean, though. I definitely do get that.
And heck, I think I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad thing. It does influence, you know, why I chose a model that was muscular, right?
Yeah,
I wanted to
same
have
with
a
me.
little bit of aesthetic appeal. And I think it matters, at least in terms of getting eyeballs. So,
Yeah.
but I am not a lewd tuber. I do draw the line there.
Yes, I agree with that. I will say sus things, but I will not, like, go out and commission NSFW art, for example.
Yeah, I'm demisexual anyways, which means that I don't even feel like attraction to people unless I've already known them for a long time. So
I
even if
see.
I wanted to be, I don't even think I could fake it.
Yeah, I see. Okay, that's actually an interesting thing, because sexuality plays a lot in this. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of LGBT representation in VTuber communities as well. So that's another thing that you have to kind of consider when talking about like demographics and things.
Yeah, absolutely. The VTuber world is very diverse.
It's very diverse. I think it's because there's just, you can be whatever you want, so anyone can be anything.
Yeah, absolutely. In 1928, they only had lack streams. I don't know what that means, but that's wild if you were watching streams in 1928.
What are lack streams? Lack streams? What are lack streams?
I have no idea. Wasn't that when everything was popping off, the Roaring Twenties or whatever it's called?
No, they
Or was
had
that 30s?
They didn't even have computers, like home computers back then, right?
No, not at all. I think that was like, I don't even know if, because I know the first computers, quote unquote computers, were like made in the 1880s, and those were like mechanical.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
lake
think
streams. I see. It was a pun.
Oh, lakes. Oh my
get
god. That took me a while to get as well. My brain like turned. It churned a while. Churned? What's the difference between turned and churned? Turn in this context.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
I guess you
use
could say
either?
the gears are turning, the brain is turning. I don't know.
Huh. Well, either way, the gears turned for a bit before I finally got that light bulb ding. Oh, let me get another drink. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, go for it. I'm washing down this all this conversation with Diet Pepsi now because I ran out of Dr Pepper.
It has been 2 hours, so we if we want, we could end soon.
My vocal cords are starting to get a little worn out. This is a lot of talking that it's probably more than I've done in a while, even on my own streams. There's been some really quality conversation, I feel like.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Well, I guess we'll end here. Do you want to?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Then before we end, do you have anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've got my Twitch stream. I'm guessing most people here are probably primarily YouTube watchers. But if you do happen to be on Twitch, I stream Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, or sorry, 6 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday, Friday, noon Pacific Standard Time on Saturdays at twitch.tv/papakumo. If you can also go to papakumo.com, takes you to the same place. And I do have a YouTube channel here as well, where I mostly just upload highlights, shorts, and hopefully more covers in the future. So if you're into metal vocals, I'll be doing more of that in the future. And that's about it.
All right. Well, oh wait. Before everyone leaves, I completely forgot to do this. Before everyone leaves, look in the description for Papa Kumo's Twitch. Give me a second.
Thank you.
I completely forgot to do this. My bad. Video details. And should I write Kumo's channel or Papa's channel? Okay, I'm gonna write Kumo's channel.
Yeah, Papa Kumo or Kumo's fine. I usually do Papa Kumo just in case someone's Googling my name.
Alright.
Because see, it turns out when you name yourself Spider in Japanese as a VTuber, you're not being that original. So there is a couple other Kumo VTubers. Actually, the majority of Spider VTubers are women, so there's a lot of variations too.
Oh, I
like,
see.
There's one named Kumoko. There's Kumori. There's a couple others that I forget. But yeah, yeah. So I usually go Papa Kumo.
I see. Well, either way, it was really nice meeting you. Thank you so much for coming to my first ever Blurry Lounge.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and for reaching out. I'm glad to be here. There's been really interesting questions and good conversation and a good time with chat tonight. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. All right then. Thank you everybody who came. Thank you so much for all the viewers. Thank you everybody. Thank you Papa Kumo. And we'll see you some other time then. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good month. Have a good year. And we'll see you some other time. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you guys next year. Bye bye.
Bye guys. Yeah, see you next year. Bye bye.